I know that it is a month later and it's still hard to talk about, but we have to start thinking about who is going to replace Kyle Williams at that defensive tackle position. Welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe, and in this edition, we are going to finally look at the free agency when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. We spent a lot of time looking at the offense when it comes to free agency. Where are the Buffalo Bills going to spend all their cap space? We looked at the wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, and offensive line. Those are the four positions we covered previously because, well, those are the four positions of need on offense for the Buffalo Bills. We didn't cover the quarterback. Do you know why? Because we have our three quarterbacks already. We know who they're going to be. No need to look at those quarterbacks. We might pick up one down far on the list just to help out in preseason. But barring injury, we know who our three quarterbacks are going to be come 2019. We got Matt Barkley. You got, of course, Josh Allen. So, you know, what else do you need right there? What else do you need? And, of course, Derek Anderson's going to be the guy with the clipboard, right? That's what we got. So, on offense, we're good. With quarterback, we looked at the free agency at all the other positions. So, now we're going to look at the defensive tackle position. Guys, I'm still saddened that Kyle Williams is gone, but we have to look past that and see who's going to replace that maybe that leadership role, but definitely that ability to come in on a rotating basis to help with Harrison Phillips, as Harrison Phillips learns his role as the new starter of defensive tackle. I imagine that he's going to come in as defensive tackle. And we'll look at the other defensive positions of need for the Buffalo Bills. So if you haven't already subscribed to Believers Talk, hit that subscribe button. We will go over all the free agents. We'll get into draft talk. Draft will be coming up in April. Before that, however, we'll break down some of the key players, some of the guys that we think the Buffalo Bills could use, whether it be offense or defense. And I'll maybe do a mock draft or two. And then we'll be live right here on Believers Talk for their draft. So if you are a fan of the Buffalo Bills, you definitely want to hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell because we do go live. So hit the notification bell. Like I said, we'll be going live for the draft. We were live and continue to be live when 2019 comes for every single Buffalo Bills game. We do live play-by-play reaction. We have a lot of fun. Not only that, however, guys, if you're a fan of Buffalo sports, not only are we doing the Buffalo Bills, we're going to go ahead and do the Buffalo Sabres for you too, and the Buffalo Bulls. We will be going live come tournament time for the Buffalo Bulls men's basketball team, and those women's Bulls, they're heating up, guys. I don't know if you're paying any attention. If a lot of you probably are not, but they're heating up. We'll see where they land when it comes to March Madness. Maybe we'll do a game or two of theirs as well, but we'll definitely do some Sabres hockey also. So lots of Buffalo sports news coming from this channel, so you definitely want to make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and we'll keep you posted on all Buffalo Bills news and all Buffalo sports news. So hit that subscribe button. But now we talk about the defensive tackle position. Who is going to replace Kyle Williams? Are we going to go with a veteran guy from this free agency list that I'm about to give you? Or are we going to go draft and get even younger? You know, we have Harrison Phillips drafted last year, 3rd round from Stanford. He might step in a little bit more this year at defensive tackle, but we all know what Leslie Frazier and McDermott like to do. They like to rotate those players, keep fresh defensive players in. That helps our guys out, keeps them fresh. When the offensive line starts getting tired, you get to be able to move a little bit easier, and they're a little bit slower, so you can get where you want to be faster. Okay, so that's why they like rotating these guys in at defense. Who's going to come in to help rotate, keep this defensive tackle depth available? So we'll start with the best player from the defensive tackle position on the board. That's going to be Grady Jarrett, defensive tackle from the Atlanta Falcons. Great young player, 26 years old, perfect for the 4-3, one of the top 4-3 defensive tackles in the NFL, according to Walter Football, which is where I'm getting my list, guys. WalterFootball.com. I get my list from free agents from there. So if you miss a name or if you want to look at some other names, definitely check out Walter Football, because I won't be talking about nose tackles, guys. The Buffalo Bills run a 4-3 defense. We do not run a 3-4, which is the only time you would need a nose tackle. For those who don't know the difference, 4-3 means you have 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 3-4, 3 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers, okay? So that's the difference. Nose tackle would be the middle of the 3. So you'd have your 2 outside guys, you have your nose tackle. We don't have that. We have 2 defensive ends, 2 defensive tackles. So if you don't know the difference between a 4-3 and a 3-4, that's a quick rundown. If you want a little more of an explanation, go ahead and hit me in the comment section below. I'll give you the full explanation there. But I think a lot of you probably know the difference between 4-3 and 3-4. But if you don't, please leave a comment. Happy to help you out. So, but we will not be talking about nose tackles because we don't need one because we run a 4-3 defense. Okay, but the first guy on this list, Grady Jarrett, defensive tackle, Atlanta Falcons, the best defensive tackle available, and probably one of the best defensive tackles in the league. I really like this kid a lot. He's played well for Atlanta, and we do need a good run stuffing defensive tackle, which is what this guy is. However, the price tag might be a little high for this guy, just because of how big of a star he's becoming in the NFL. Again, 26 years old is that age range we want to look at. Definitely that age range we want to look at. However, will the price tag match what we're looking for at the time? Again, we have a lot of cap space. We can afford him. I'm not saying we can't afford him, but if he impedes on us getting a lot of other nice new shiny toys, then maybe we won't look his way. Maybe look at this next guy on the list who I always liked, from Minnesota, Sheldon Richardson, defensive tackle, 28 years old. Always been a huge fan of Sheldon Richardson. I think he's played really well. You look at that Minnesota defense, one of the big reasons why last year they were in the NFC Championship game. They're just a really good defense, especially up front. So you have to give credit to the defensive tackle position and Sheldon Richardson for that. Now, I think Minnesota would be smart to keep Sheldon Richardson. However, you never know. You never know what's going to happen in free agency. And if he is available, that would be someone that I definitely would want to look at for replacing Kyle Williams. Then you go down this list, David Irving from the Dallas Cowboys, 26 years old. He did really good at the end of 2016, looked really good at 2017. Due to an injury and suspension this past season, didn't play all that much. But he is listed as a free agent. Probably won't be signed by Dallas because of that injury issue and the suspension. However, remember, you look at Dallas's defense, top 5 in run defense. So, that will go a long way in helping out the Dallas Cowboys as well. And they did that a lot without David Irving. So we'll see if he becomes available. If he becomes available, what's the price tag on him? Will he be worth the investment? A young kid, again, 26 years old. We'll see what we do there. Going to a guy that a lot of you might know from the Green Bay Packers. He's actually been around the league a little bit. Muhammad Wilkerson plays both defensive end and defensive tackle, which is something that Sean McDermott might look at, and Brandon Beane, when it comes to signing these players, just because we all know how much they love their versatility, right? They love the versatile guys, and if they can find someone who can play both parts of the line, maybe that's someone they're willing to take a look at and see how well he could do. From Houston, you got Christian Covington, defensive end, defensive tackle, 25 years old. Again, looking at that age number and saying, hey, that might be the type of guy we're looking for. He is listed as one of the top run-stuffing defensive linemen in the NFL. Is that someone we're looking at? We all saw games this season where the Bills had trouble stopping the rush. So is that something we're looking for, more of a run-stopping defensive lineman, or are we looking for someone to get after the quarterback a little bit more? When we're in division with Tom Brady still with Tom Brady, young guy with Sam Darnold, and you don't know what the Dolphins are doing. Are you looking at getting after the quarterback a little bit? We all know that the teams that normally do well are teams that get pressure on the quarterback. Well, let's try to get somebody who can get pressure on the quarterback then. Then you go down this list, Darius Philon from the LA Chargers, 25 years old. He's a solid starter, more of a rotational player, but that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for a rotational player, notched 4 sacks last season as well. So, that's someone who can get after the quarterback a little bit. Margus Hunt from the Indianapolis Colts, 32 years old. Again, a little older. Not sure if we want those older guys coming in again and worry about retirement in just a few years after we just saw one of our favorite players of all time retire, Kyle Williams. Maybe we do want to get a little bit younger in that position, and so maybe not look his way as much. Same thing with Henry Anderson, going to be 29 years old. Is that the age where you kind of start looking? But these guys aren't like running backs, right? Like, it's not like 30 is that number where they start declining. We see 35, 36, 37 still able to play well. So are you willing to give him a look? He has pass rushing ability, so that's something you can look at as well. 7 sacks last season, according to WalterFootball.com, which again is the website I'm using. This was probably a fluke, but any pass rush Anderson generates is a bonus. So they're saying that seven sacks might be a little bit extensive for what you're going to get out of him. You can't look at that number and say, oh wow, look at this guy. But still was able to get pressure on the quarterback nonetheless. Brent Urban's also going to be available, free agent, defensive end, defensive tackle from the Baltimore Ravens, 28 years old, again a good rotational player. You got on this list, Brandon Mebane from the LA Chargers, 34 years old. Again, do you want to spend time on guys that old, or are you looking to get younger as well as add depth? Roy Robertson Harris. Now, Roy Robertson Harris is a restricted free agent, so that means Chicago Bears will have the first rights to him. So maybe this is a guy who you will look at next year and say he's going to make some money because he did pretty well for the Bears this past season. But he's going to be a restricted free agent, which means the Bears want to probably hold on to him and see what he can do this season. And then next year, he'll hit that free agent market, and we'll see how well he does there. Come that time, will the Bears want to re-sign him, or will they let him go? You look at Adam Bailey from the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, decent starting defensive end, could be good on a rotational basis, especially he is getting a little bit older. He's 30 years old, so maybe now using that on a rotating basis instead of as the consistent starter. Maybe that will help him out. Maybe that will give him some longevity when it comes to his career. Then you look at Tyler Davison from the Saints. Unfortunately, the Saints this past weekend, heartbreaker. But you look at Davison as a defensive tackle, 26 years old, doesn't offer much as far as pass rushing ability, according to what I'm reading here on Walter Sports. But again, if we're looking for that run stuffer, right? First and second down type defensive tackle, maybe bringing Harrison Phillips down, third down to attack the pass rusher. Who knows? Who knows what we're looking for? Continuing down this list, we have a couple nose tackles. Again, we're not going to be looking at nose tackles here. Rodney, Gunter, and Olson, Pierre, both defensive end, defensive tackles from the Cardinals. So they're both 27 years old. So one of them you have to think would be re-signed at least. But they might both be available, and if they're both available, who knows what the Buffalo Bills do. Dominique Easley, defensive tackle of the Rams. We all know the Rams spent a lot of money this past offseason to make that defense pretty good. Has led them to Super Bowl 53, so maybe it was worth the investment, but will they have the money to re-sign someone like Dominique Easley, and will he become available? I've always liked Dominique Easley. However, you have to remember the Rams also play a little bit of that 3-4 style where we play a 4-3 technique. But Dominique Easley could work in a 4-3 defense. You just need to prepare him correctly now because he's not a nose tackle, so you can put him on the end or maybe put him at defensive tackle and see what he could do for you there. And then of course we have Haloti Ngata, 35 years old, from the Eagles. A lot of people know who Haloti Ngata is. Played a lot of his years in Baltimore. I'm not looking at a guy who's already 35 years old and saying, yes, let's go sign him. I would much rather sign one of the younger guys. But we all know what Haloti Ngata offers you. Has a 4-3-3 technique, defensive tackle. Now the Eagles do play at 3-4 a lot, so will we bring someone like Haloti Ngata over here? Again, with the age, might be asking for a little less money, so that's a good thing. But is he worth the investment? We'll see. We'll see. There are a couple more names on this list as they go down. If you want to check those out, go to walterfootball.com. But those are the best available top 20 defensive tackles. Again, we did skip the nose guard position or nose tackle position because that's not something Buffalo Bills need. That's not something we're looking for. We do not run the 3-4, we run the 4-3. So that's a look at some of the defensive tackles available. Let me know what you think. Do you want one of those guys? Do one of those names ring a bell to you and say, oh yeah, that would be awesome? Again, do you agree with me that Richardson from the Vikings, we also get him, even though I think the Vikings are going to re-sign him. But we'll see what happens. Free agency is crazy every single year, so you want to stay posted right here on Believers Talk. I'll let you know who we sign, when we sign them, what trades go down. We know Antonio Brown's looking for a trade, probably a couple other trades that might be available come the start of the 2019 NFL season. 2019 league year begins in March 13th, I believe it is. So you want to keep posted on all news, and that can start as soon as March. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, leave a comment below. Happily get back to you. So thank you for joining me on Believers. Again, my name is Joe. I hope to see and hear from you all soon. But till I do,